Going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome. Another episode propping up Gold Boys Network, brought to you by Pickett and Boom Fantasy. Only a couple games tonight. I'm GriffyBets, joined by Walla here. No NBA at all. College championship is later tonight. Only a couple in the NHL. So hopefully we can find a couple gems. How you doing, Walla? How was your weekend?
It's been all right. I know we do this is the hockey show, but baseball's been back, so that was uh that was fun. Just getting back into that and everything, but still still going through hockey. I think there's some good angles today, even on the small slate. So I'm excited to be back on the show. I like doing these. Uh, let's make the most of the three games today.
Yeah, for baseball, did find a little success with that last summer. I'm excited to dig in. I was going to give it a couple weeks for everything to settle down, but it seems like a lot of people have just been winning props right off the bat, like strikeout props, hit props. I feel like I'm seeing a whole lot of winning going on in this first couple of days, so that's good. Um, did you have a good weekend with baseball?
Yeah, I did. There's been a lot of success with the stolen bases. Huge uptick in the success rate on those, and there's been a lot of advantages to take, in the market. So that's been fun. But yeah, that's I think that's the big thing here. Those rule changes are helping out hitting and stolen bases. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for that season. And we were talking about it before the show. Excited for these really important games in the NHL. Um, you see a lot of players really lock in these big matchups. So a lot of implications in these games. So we should be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Only 5, 6 games are left for most of these teams. Playoffs start in 2 weeks. Feels like just yesterday we were sweating out Roman Yossi over 2.5 shots on goal in Germany at 1 p.m. on a Friday in October. And now here we are. And it's April already. It's crazy. Yeah, the small slates, I tend to enjoy them a little more. You can give each game the attention that it deserves. Um, I know Friday was just a couple games as well. I had a pretty nice Friday. So I like these smaller slates. It's too overwhelming with all these games. I know I'm already stressed about this coming Saturday when all 32 teams have decided to play on the same day. Seems a little rude, but we don't have to worry about that just yet.
Yeah.
Let's jump in. Definitely their stakes are high for at least one of these teams in all of them, but the biggest game's got to be Vegas, Minnesota. Two teams leading their divisions right now who definitely would like to hold on to that top spot and secure a date either with Seattle, Winnipeg, or Calgary. Three teams definitely exploitable. So, yeah, Vegas, Minnesota should be good. They just met 2 days ago. Vegas won 4-1 at home. They got off 43 shots. Minnesota got off 30. Now we're swapping locations. Vegas won in Minnesota in February 5-1. So yeah, should be a good game. What are you seeing here?
Well, especially when you bring it up like that, that Vegas has taken the games. Should see Minnesota uh, really coming out in this one, trying to take it at home. And I think we got to highlight one guy who's been just on fire, which is Boldy on Minnesota. I think his point looks really solid in this one. He's been scoring a lot, lots of goals. I thought his price for how often he's been scoring, I saw a plus 195 for a goal, which seems that seems like a great price for a guy who has a goal in um, 6 of his last 10 and a couple multi-goal games in there. He had a goal last game against Vegas, but I thought his point definitely looked good. If you like doing, parlays with something a little safer, he's got a point in 8 of his last 10. Uh, he's just been on fire. So I wanted to give him a little nod. And then,
Two of
as
his last three at home, he's got a hat trick. It's
yeah, that's
ridiculous.
I consider that on fire. That's the rule, right? 3. So
It's
yeah,
crazy.
he's been rolling. I like him and Eck, which I think you like as well. So if you want to talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, Eric's so I mean, people watch the show a lot. I'm going back on my word of Minnesota being dead to me because I haven't been able to get them right. I mean, Vegas has been letting up a lot of shots lately, and a lot to the center position. Shot props here has them second most shots to centers last 10 games. So Erickson X slots in. I mean, he's got 4 shots in 4 straight. Um, at home, he's got 4+ in 3 of his last 4. He's had some nice games against Vegas this year, 4 and 5 shots. And he's had 3+. His line's 2.5 in 4 of his last 5 against them. So, yeah, he looks great to me. I don't hate moving him up to 4 either. And I find it curious that he has not been scoring at all, even with all these shots. He's been very efficient with his attempts. His attempts aren't crazy, but that almost makes me think the goal's coming sooner before later. So I might do a little egg 4+ and a goal in a little long shot tonight.
Yeah, wow, it has been quite some time since he has scored. It's true. I like that. We saw that with somebody else recently. Um, they were I think it was Horvat, where he just had a string
Mm-hmm.
of games where he was getting every attempt on goal, but nothing was leading to a goal. And then then he finally broke through after a few of those. So that could be the same formula here. He's been getting a lot of shots on target. So uh yeah, like you said, more you expect him to get one in sooner than later. So makes sense.
Yeah, but I paired his 2.5 with March or so in this game to also go over 2.5. He's got he's also a guy flying over. He's got 4 shots in 3 straight, 4 of his last 5. His attempts have been awesome. 8 attempts per game. His last 5 overall. Only a slight dip on the road, 7.6 in his last 5. He's had some nice games against Minnesota as well. He had 4 against them 2 days ago. 3 of his last 4 he's gotten for 4+. So 3 seems reasonable in a combination. His 2 seems really safe if you want to water it down and find some other legs you like. But I like those 2 guys to get 3 together. I think it was plus 143. You're probably seeing it on the screen now, something in that range. So yeah, I like that combo here, and just a massive game, guys shooting. Nice
Yeah.
history.
If you have Bet 365, it was plus 150 on there because they let you do the same game parlay at the regular lines, and FanDuel can kind of juice them a little bit more. So it's like a tiny bit better on there. But I
Mhm.
like that play. I'm looking at Marsh, and on the season, he's got a 66% hit rate. And then you could see like lately his volume has just gone crazy, way up. He has like 40 attempts or something like that in his last 5, something close to it. So he's been shooting a lot. There was a dip with his volume a bit in there, but if you just like look at him and make his attempts up to 5, it's like 84% hit rate. I think you had mentioned that we were talking. So if he can just maintain the steady volume, then 3 is definitely within reach there. Because yeah, with 9 attempts, what does he have in his last few attempts wise? 7, 10, 9, 5, 9, 6. So he has a pretty solid hit rate when he can get those attempts in there. Looks really good.
Yeah. Anything else? I don't love this game for a ton of goals. I mean, I would have to check what the over under is, but I mean, just looking at they had 5 goals last game, combined for 6 before that, 3 the time before that, last April. I don't know. I could just see a tight game. Um, I wouldn't hate looking at some block shots props if any are up. I've been meaning to, with playoffs almost here, I'd like to start digging into that market a little bit more. Players are going to be far more inclined to put their body in front of the puck once these stakes are higher. This seems like a nice game to maybe explore that
Yeah.
if any are up.
Yeah, that is a good look though. There's been some high hit rates on those, kind of juiced, so you usually have to pair them together, but definitely good correlation there. you find a good target, a team that's shooting a lot, and it's not a lot of these defenders are getting 2 blocks a game, a lot of these 1.5 lines. So, uh, yeah, there's good looks there. I've seen people moving into that a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to whittle this down. I don't really know the best sorts to find block shots, but I mean, I just poked over Alec Martinez on Vegas has a 2.5 line at -115. Quick look, he's averaging 3.25 block shots per game. Um, let's see how that looks, last 10 games. 3.3, pretty solid. I'd like to see it more on a game by game, but I don't know, stuff like that. I think now is the time to start looking into that a little bit more, especially a game like this. So maybe I'll poke around there a bit more.
For sure, yeah. I think it looks good. Good angle. We talk about a lot of the same props, and a lot of people bet the same props for hockey. So if you can find another prop that maybe has a little bit more of explodable market, that could be good.
For what it's worth, he had 3 block shots last game against Minnesota, which again was Saturday. I'll be keeping my eye on that. Start looking at that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all I saw in this game. I saw a slight edge. Maybe Vegas finds a power play goal, but not enough to feel good about doing anything about it. Gustafsson's been pretty solid in net, and Minnesota's been pretty tight at home. So didn't delve too deep into that one.
No, I think those were my favorite prop looks. Otherwise, like you said, I could see it being a tighter game.
All right, Nashville, Dallas. Certainly like Dallas for shots, both because Nashville's letting up about 34 on the road lately, and they've been struggling with penalties again. 3.7 power play opportunities allowed last 20 days. So Dallas shots looked good to me, and that was my initial look. I think Stars will probably be good for at least 3 goals as well. They tend to hit that against Nashville and at home much more often than not. So that was my view of the situation.
Yeah. If you're like in Dallas to score, it was good to see Heiskanen getting back, because he was on a roll with his points and his assists for a bit, and then had a couple of games without him. But then now he's right back to 4 assists in his last 2 games. So he's looking good out there. That definitely will help them with the goals. I think that there's a few angles for shots here. It's nice to see Robertson getting back to some more consistency lately with his shots. A guy that was so heavily relied on earlier in the season, which he did hit twice against Nashville earlier on. Then he had a miss against them after that. But yeah, if they're on the power play a lot, he certainly will have his chances.
Yeah, I thought he looked fine. Goal wise, I think Hintz is worth flagging for goals. He's got 2 goals in back-to-back against Nashville, which you gotta love to see. And he's had at home, he's got a goal in 4 of his last 7. So I found him a little bit intriguing.
Yeah.
Look at that at home. He's got a goal in 3 straight when Nashville's come to town. So I don't hate his goal here. Similar to Eric's neck, as I was trying to form maybe a little lotto, I was thinking Hintz's shots and goal seemed pretty solid to me.
Yeah, I like that. I like
I
power play he hasn't been getting any power play points recently, but they should. I think that in this matchup they'll get some looks. So hopefully Hintz can come alive there. And I was just talking about Heiskanen plus 158 for a power play point. Doesn't look half bad. Where his assists are coming right now. Been looking at those power play points in those last few games. And unfortunately, it's just one of those things I've been taking note of, and I haven't been bringing to the finish line, and they've been kind of coming through. So Heiskanen looks pretty interesting there for me, but just wanted
he's been
flag
awesome.
that one.
I did do a half unit on Joe Pavelski shots, which I think if you didn't read my article, um, not someone who's probably on a lot of people's radars today. I mean, right off the bat, he's only gone over this once in his last 8 games. So if that scares you, then feel free to not join. But I was seeing a couple things here with Pavelski. One, the power plays they should get. Like I mentioned, he's right there in the mix with power play shot leaders last 10 games. I think it's Robertson and Jamie Benn have 9 in the last 10. Pavelski has 8. And his volume, if you just look at overall, regardless of location, he's second on the team behind Robertson lately in attempts, 5.5 per game in his last 5. He's got 4 attempts in 6 straight, and at home, he's got 4 attempts in 8 straight. Couple other things. So Nashville, one of their biggest vulnerabilities has been to the right wing. Third most to right wingers last 10 games. So I was just seeing power play chances coming, the right wing, solid volume. And as we've been mentioning more, the shot attempts filter on props.cash is just something worth playing around with. And seeing Pavelski so often get 4 attempts, and against Nashville too, when you move him to a 4 attempt minimum, he's over 2.5 in 68% of games from the start of last year, which is 109 games total. So that's just a really nice, that's really nice rate for me. He's plus 118. So I just took a half unit stab, given all that. If he was a little more consistent, I would have gone a unit, but that's why I bumped it down. But I liked it, so I went for it. Why not?
Yeah, I'm looking here. Even so, he has that, like you said, his volume's going up a bit. I'm looking, he's getting those, at least the 2 shots, which I know you mentioned in your article. 2 shots would be a really good, pivot if you wanted to do that for him. But so with his volume going up, and despite him staying at 2 shots, it has definitely led to goals, though.
Oh yeah,
He's got 10 goals in his last 14 games, and he's plus 210 to score. I mean, he had a stretch longer than that where he didn't even score at all before that. So this is the hottest he's been with goal scoring this season. And it's also one of his steadiest floors with shot attempts. So one, I could definitely see the positive progression coming for the shot attempts, which would be good for the shot on goal prop. But the volume itself has led to a lot of goals. So plus 210, it's quite the price for a guy with 7 goals in his last 10 games and 6 in his last 7 games. Uh,
yeah. I
did
did.
not realize that shit.
No, I didn't really. When I was writing it up, I didn't even look at how he was scoring. That
I'm gonna
does
sprinkle
make me
on
want
that for
to.
sure.
It does make me, want to maybe go to his goal as well.
Though he does not have in the past 2 seasons, he hasn't hit 4 games in a row with a goal. Though he's last season he didn't even have 3 in a row with a goal, but he's done that 4 times this season. So can this be the spot where he hits 4 in a row for the first time in the last 2 seasons? I mean, you nailed the Athanasiou power play point, which was his 4th power play point in like 2 seasons. So crazier things have happened, but he's definitely
Forgot about that.
shooting a lot right now. That's quite the price.
Yeah, that is interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's 2 shots, super safe. I went for it at 3 at plus money. But yeah, in general, I think Dallas is going to be good here for 34, 35 shots, in my opinion. So go with somebody, I would say. It's definitely a good game to load up on a star.
For sure. I'm liking that.
Alrighty. Unless you have anything else, might as well hop to the last game.
No, what's the Nashville side? I mean, I don't even know. What the
I
Thomas Novak? Is he? I guess he's their star now. Didn't Duchesne like lose a fingertip or something? Did you read that?
Did he? I don't. That
He got
sounds
a
horrible.
Yeah, they
Wow.
said so he got injured and something, hit in the hand or something like that. And he came off the ice, and when he took his glove off, his fingertip was still in the glove.
Uh, oh,
So yeah,
ugh.
so I guess Thomas Novak is their Novak Evangelista. Those guys are who who are doing stuff for him, but Novak's been the most consistent. But I'm not messing with that side right now.
No, I mean for what it's worth, yeah, Nashville just came off. They just destroyed St. Louis early Saturday, and Wedgwood is confirmed in net. He hasn't played in over a month, close to a month and a half. He hasn't played. So if you think there's any rust there, maybe Nashville finds a couple goals. I mean, Dallas
Novak has
has let
4
up.
points.
Yeah, it's crazy. Dallas has allowed a 3.6 in their last 10 at home. Um, Nashville's just a team I haven't looked into in a while, and I don't really feel like starting now. But
Yeah, it's just a few guys there who have been carrying the weight. It seems like Glass, Novak, Evangelista, but I'm not gonna mess around too much here. But
it
Wedgwood might, maybe that's the spot. Who knows?
it's almost crazy that Nashville is still they're a little on the outside, but the fact that they're still in the playoff race is kind of bizarre. So maybe next year with some of these younger guys, I don't even know if they're young now. It's just such a blind comment I just made. But these guys that typically are not on our radar because they're not involved, maybe it'll carry over next year. But tonight, no, thank you.
Yeah,
Arizona, Seattle is the late one. Love Seattle here for shots especially, and
yeah,
some of these prices are awesome. Why don't you talk about one I know you got in bright and early?
yeah. I do like a couple looks, but the one that I went with first was Schwartz at -105 for over 2.5 shots. Um, I'm seeing a guy who's been shooting a good amount lately. Maybe the volume's not as crazy as guys we're used to, like Pasta and McKinnon, but they also get a lot of block shots and missed shots in there. Schwartz is pretty efficient with his volume. So when he can get those 5 attempts and stuff like that, he's been pretty good. And that's kind of what made me look at him was that last game he had the 5 attempts and it landed with one on goal. But prior to that, he had hit in 5 of 6 games before that. So we're coming into a matchup against Arizona, solid target for shots. He's hit in a couple against them. If you like seeing that, he's hit in the last two. He had 6 attempts in both those games, which led to 8 shots on goal. So I'm seeing a guy who's getting around 5 attempts lately, and a team that's letting up shots. So I could definitely see him getting that volume that he needs to hit three. I just bring his hit rate when he gets 4+ attempts. He's at um, what's that, 70% hit rate. So just give me some attempts from him, and looks pretty good in this matchup against Coyotes.
Yeah, it's an interesting look. I was not quite sure. I mean, I saw that he had nice history against Arizona, but um, yeah, those attempts have been pretty nice lately. And when you bump it up to 5 attempts, he's covers 2.5 at 82% of games last 2 years. Also, a lot of goals when he gets that volume. For what it's worth, he's plus
Yeah.
205. Um, yeah, that's a nice look.
Yeah, I
Is
know
he
he, like I said,
on?
missed last game, but if you follow that hit rate, like you said, then give me 5+ attempts this game. He should soft opponent should be all right for him.
Yeah, I like it. I thought a whole bunch looked good. Vince Dunn at plus 150 was one I had to grab, and I only put a half unit on it also, but I definitely kind of want to go for a full unit here. 2.5 shots at plus 150. He's gone over in 6 of his last 8, and 3 straight at home, where he's averaging 5.8 attempts per game his last 5. Um, I mean, that's just pretty steady. And then you just got Arizona letting up. I mean, they're one of the best defenseman targets last 10 whole year. I'm willing to take a stab here at plus 150. Some really nice volume lately and a very nice target. Um, yeah, I
Yeah, I
had to
like
do
that
it.
one. I think you can bump it up to a unit. I like your half unit look, and I think maybe it's a little bit based on so he's a defenseman, and typically we see defensemen, they can get blocked and miss more often. And if I put him at 4 attempts minimum here, he's on a 6 game streak where he's hit 3 shots on goal, um, where he's had 4 plus attempts. But overall in the season, it's like 52%. So that's just showing lately he's been having some he's had 2 games in there where he's gone 3 for 4, and he has a 4 for 5 game there. So I could possibly see a little bit of maybe regression coming there. But he's been solid lately. So if I like the half unit look there just because he's a defenseman. But it's a really solid price, still good return on a half unit. But uh I understand the looking at him for a full unit for sure. It's a lot of hits recently.
Yeah, I think as I was writing it up, that was what kept me from bumping it up. Because I loved everything I was writing, but just got to keep in mind that yes, this is a defenseman, so these attempts look nice, but a lot can go wrong with the defenseman's attempts. I mean, usually I'd prefer back in an Ekblad defenseman who's shooting 10 times, or my new best friend Mackenzie Weegar, who
Yeah, what
likes
the
to
heck?
shoot 10 to 14 times a game lately. It seems so.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
yeah, that was definitely my. I was like, calm down here. Let's keep it a half unit. Relax.
Yeah, he's got great 13 attempts in the last 2 games, but even like I was saying, that's 6 on net. So you could see that a little bit of that efficiency where he was going 4 for 5, 3 for 4. He started getting some misses in there. So you want to see him at those 6, 7 attempts. And this is a good target for it. So that plus 150 price is I agree. It's definitely really intriguing.
And 2 shots looks great. I mean, he's hitting 8 of his last 10 at two, 6 straight at home, and 2 straight against Arizona. But of course, he's the one guy FanDuel is not offering. So maybe if everybody just bombards FanDuel's support, be like, "Hi, you list Vince Dunn normally. Could you also list him at the alts with all the other guys, please?" Um, I know sometimes that's a successful approach. Yeah, because I think his two would be great, and based on this price, you'd think it'd be pretty reasonable. Could help bring down the juice on someone like McCann at 3 if you paired
Yeah,
Vince Dunn with 2. So if someone wants to do the legwork there and just kindly ask FanDuel to add him, that would be great.
definitely looks a lot safer there, but really great price for that production lately. You don't usually see that.
I also love McCann in this one. I bumped him up to 4. Definitely a big part of that was him leading the team in power play shots this year and last 10 games, because Arizona's penalty issues just is keep getting worse, and they're up to 4.4 allowed per game in the last 20 days, which is crazy. Uh, so I was liking McCann. I mean, he had 4 shots last time he saw Arizona. It's just his volume's been crazy. He's got 7 attempts or more, and 4 straight at home, 5 of 6. Um, and he's got 7 attempts overall in what is this, 7 of his last 9. And that's just great volume, great target. And maybe it sounds repetitive at this point, but using that filter again, projecting 7 attempts feels like a lot, but I mean, the guy's been doing it when he does the last 2 years. He's gone over 2.5 in 31 to 33 games. And he's ended up with 4 or more in 27 to 33. So to me, it felt worth it to go up to 4 shots at plus 146. I think his 3 shots is an excellent parlay piece today with some of the other things we mentioned, but I went for 4.
Yeah, I'm looking. If you just look at this season, the sweet spot is 6 attempts. Uh, there's a big goes from 68% when he has 5 plus to 81% when he has 6 plus. So Coyotes, good spot to for him to. I mean, he's already been getting 7 attempts lately. So Coyotes letting up shots. If he can get that 6, 7, looks really, really, really solid.
Yeah, I might still do something with him at 3 just in case, but I did a half unit on him at 4. I mean, besides that, I don't think I'm gonna end up playing it, but I'll flag Jordan Eberle's shots at plus 125. Seemed interesting to me. Pretty simple. He's just gone over in 4 of his last 5 at home and has a couple big games against Arizona last year, 5 and 4 shots, but I'm not gonna play him. I think this would be a nice chance for Bjorkstrand to get back involved. He's been really quiet lately, but he's very involved on the power play usually. His attempts are horrible. But he's got 3 shots. His last 2 against Arizona, he had 2 goals in a game against them. I believe at home he's got 3 goals in his last 5. Thought he looked okay as well, but that's about it.
Yeah, they bumped Keller, or he's at 1.5 points. He looked really awesome at that 1 point line. If you're able to do that, it's been solid on the road as well. Him and Schmaltz have been racking up points. Have some nice streaks on the road.
Keller's
So
minus 250 for a point on FanDuel.
Keller,
Yeah.
yeah. So you would definitely need to pair it with something. But if he was at like the 1 point line, I liked doing that, like pairing him with Schmaltz. But they both didn't get a point last game. I could see them getting some goals here, so those guys could get involved tonight. But yeah, Schwartz was my main one today, and Seattle in general for shots just looks awesome.
I don't hate the over in this one. I think Fishmelka's expected in net. He has not been great for Arizona. And Seattle at home, I think they're averaging, I know they're allowing 3.9 per game at home, and they're scoring 3.3. And Arizona's offense has been decently feisty, and I think these teams have only met 3 times. Each had at least 6 goals, so maybe
Wow.
moving down to 5.5 is a solid parlay leg.
I didn't even look at this before I said the thing about Keller and Schmaltz. So I brought up Keller and I looked, and he has an assist in 3 straight against Seattle. So I was like, oh, who's scoring? And then Schmaltz has 3 goals in his last 2 against Seattle. So yeah, I like those 2 guys.
I mean, yeah, Schmaltz fresh off a 10 attempt game, hasn't scored in 9 games.
240 to score. Seems like it's like the he's due candidate right there.
How is I think Grubauer's expected in net. See how he's been doing lately. He's doing okay. I mean, last game he let up 4 goals on 13 shots. Not exactly a strong performance.
No.
He's got 1 game with a save percentage over 87% in his last 6. Yeah, I mean, he's certainly not amazing. He's played against Arizona at all. And he's done okay against Arizona. But yeah, I don't hate goals here
That's
at
my
all.
look for that side. If I'm looking in that game, if you're expecting goals, those 2 guys have been real solid together, which has led to Hayton being pretty good too, and he's at a fair price. But the other 2 guys look a little bit better to me. We were talking about McCann. I know this is a little bit different, but I was actually considering doing his over 2.5 shots with a cross sport parlay here with Otani to get a hit. If anybody's doing baseball bets as well, really like him today, and might as well let you guys know since it has a hockey leg in there. But I was liking those 2. late game for hockey, um, find a later game with baseball, but looks like a good matchup for both those guys. So I'm gonna actually do that today.
Sweet.
Yep.
Maybe I'll join you. I gotta pop my baseball cherry at some point this year. How
All right.
about we didn't get a chance to talk about it because it happened on Friday. Valimaki scored the game after he was pick and play of the day, which is really cool of him. He's back on the ice, ready to score again. That's a
I
bummer.
knew that. Knew it too. Like there's somebody in some chat was just like, so it's happening today, right? And like we all, I just remember everybody laughing.
It was on the power play too. That bastard.
Of course.
I
You
do.
never learn.
I did have written down that Arizona looked okay for a power play goal. For
Oh
whatever
God.
that's worth. I can't do it again, but
Oh no.
all right. Best bets. Quick recap. I really like done shots. I really like done shots. And I mean, I only talked about a couple. McCann and Pavelski at plus money. Big plus money, half unit kind of night for me. Try to stray off the beaten path a little bit more with shots on goal. It's been treating me well.
Yeah. I'm going with Schwartz shots is my best bet.
All
Felt
right.
he's looking good with that volume. Should be due for a bounce back.
Yeah, I like it. Do we want to make pick and play of the day that two legger?
Yeah, I think
What do you
we
think?
highlighted those two guys, Eck and Marsh. So let's do it.
All right. Yeah. So back to the first game, Vegas, Minnesota. Erickson, Eck, March so each to get 3. Last I checked, I think was plus 143 on FanDuel. Big game for both sides. They both just had 4 shots against each other 2 days ago. So why not do it again? But they only need to get 3. Nothing crazy.
Yeah,
So
I like
that
those two guys. Solid volume for Marsh so and just great plus matchup for Eck with Vegas. Just doing really poorly against centers lately. So great combination of guys.
for sure. All righty. Well, that's gonna do it. Just a couple games. We'll be back here on Wednesday. So good luck tonight. Hope you join us on a couple plays. Hope you pick out the winners. So yeah, thanks for hopping in.
Yep. See you guys.